Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Infield Fly, talking baseball with you this morning and talking about the last week in Major League Baseball and what's coming up this week in baseball as we get closer to the postseason. We are under 20 games remaining this regular season in the Major League Baseball year.
For a second, Rob, when you said the last week of Major League Baseball, I thought, oh, wait, is this the last week?
No.
Literally, right?
It's 20 games left, you're saying.
20 games
right.
left. 20 games left in Major League Baseball season. And still a lot of things going on with the pennant race and the wild card especially. We'll get into that coming up today on the program as well. I'm Rob Fisher.
We got to stop the press.
Yeah.
You have on your Cardinals shirt today. You're repping the Cardinals today. You've kind of like been through with them. You wasn't wearing any Cardinal paraphernalia. Like, what is brought upon this miracle?
Big week for the Cardinals. Took 2 or 3 from the Braves like we expected. And then 2 or 3 from the Reds as expected. Cardinals are on fire. Even though Adam Wainwright's still stuck at 190.
We still got to get Waino. We got to get Waino back.
Still got to get him a win. The lone loss against the Braves was Wainwright pitching. But we'll talk a little bit about the Cardinals and the Braves. Lang Whitaker, Braves fan.
I'm wearing my Acuna jersey.
I see you.
Good. I got this is a Jordan Walker, my Jordan Walker jersey that I'm going with today. Keith Murphy is here, Cubs fan. Go Cubbies, go! They continue to try and solidify a playoff spot, a wild card in the National League. A couple of top stories from the week, though. One, guys, I was in Little Rock over the weekend, and
this is our top story.
Yeah,
it should be.
Threw out the first pitch in Little Rock for the Travelers game on Saturday. Now, this is the 3rd year that I've done it. In the first 2 years, I just hurled a strike, right down the middle. So I had some, 0-2 pitch going into this year, and I wasted one, I guess is the best way to put it. I got flustered. I bounced one. I not only bounced one, I spiked it and it rolled all the way to the backstop. Spiked it about 20 feet in front of me. It rolled all the way to the backstop. I was flustered. You guys asked me what happened. Basically I get up to the top of the mound and I just want to the one step and throw, right? And I looked and my feet were in a weird position, and all of a sudden I took a step back like I was doing a big full wind up. So then I was like, well, what am I doing? So then my feet start dancing and I just kind of moved, and then I tried to get back to where I was just taking the step, and they had one of their coaches catching the first pitch. In the last couple of years, it was just some kid that was catching the pitch, and they had a coach. So I was a little flustered by that. And then I got my feet all tangled, and then I threw it and I spiked it, and it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Why don't you just tell people it was the pitch clock, man? Blame it on that.
Yeah. Pitch clock screwed me up a little
bit. The video you sent to me and Murph, you texted us. The quality wasn't great. Let's be honest. Like, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was like a transfer from Android to iPhone or something, but it was sort of like trying to analyze the Zapruder film. Like I was like, trying to like break it down and like slow-mo back and forth. I was looking for a second spitter on the hill and I couldn't find one. And then once I saw it, the thing I could tell from the video is you can't really see the pitch because I think the camera is anticipating a strike. The ball just goes off to the side. But you do hear a lot of ooh from the crowd. Somebody says, "Oh no."
It was a good crowd too, because it was Julio Rodriguez bobblehead night.
Oh wow!
And it was a Saturday night, right? Like it was.
And it was beautiful out. It was gorgeous night at the park, and it was a great time. So thanks to the Travelers for having me. I hope they have me back.
I don't know if they will after this, man.
I'd like to issue a challenge to Carly Lyons, who our promotions staff director. I'm ready for my chance.
Okay. I think
I want to throw out a first pitch.
I think that'd be a good idea, because and after I threw it too, it was like my elbow hurt.
Did you grab your elbow? Did you do the little?
No, I just collapsed to the ground like, what the hell just happened?
Did all the coaches come to the mound and just check you out real quick?
My elbow, my UCL. I got a UCL.
I think if I get a chance to do it, I'm going to stand up there on the mound and wind up and throw it about 30 feet over everyone's head into the net.
Well,
just throw it as hard as I can, way as high as I can.
Way up there.
I'd be like, whoops.
the lady from the Travelers, she told me before I went out there, she said, all right, here's what I'm asking you to do. We haven't had a viral video in a while, so if you could really trash one, that'd be a great idea.
But they should have got it on video.
And right. And then I throw the pitch that I throw, and I looked over at her, and she said, well, okay, that was close.
Wow.
We need to like, hey, Fish, maybe like ask some of the people who are involved in this. Can we get like the broadcast footage of it? Certainly there's a camera in center field that got a better angle of this.
You would think so. Hopefully that won't be distributed, but
it's going to be
we'll
the
see.
The famous Chris Rock one or 50 Cent or Baba Booey. There's been some like really bad ones through the years.
But... Yeah, because even Devin Walker, our social media guy, he was there and he took video of it too. But the same thing happened with his, that you're anticipating it's just going to be thrown down the middle of the plate. So he lost the ball as well until it was rolling back behind. It was terrible.
I sent you that video of some dude from the Blue Jays. I think, right? Is that who that guy was?
Oh, the Royals.
Royals, yeah. That guy who like spiked a couple balls and threw one over everyone's head. I don't know what got into that guy, but
yeah.
You said that was reminiscent of your first pitch.
That's right. It was in my head. I got something in my head, and it was a disaster.
You just Chuck Knoblocked it. That's what you did.
Oh my God! I had the yips. It was bad. It was real. Well, see, the thing is, I do have the yips a little bit. That's why I have to throw it hard to get it to just play catch. Even I have to kind of throw hard. And but man, I spiked it into the ground. Spiked it like I don't even know if it went 20 feet. It went to like the bottom of the hill and just rolled all the way to the backstop. It was terrible. It was an absolute embarrassment. Speaking of UCL injuries, Shohei Ohtani with his UCL injury now has an oblique injury. Did not play all week for the Angels. They still haven't shut him down for the season. Shohei wants to continue to play. He's got 44 home runs. He's got 95 RBIs. I think he'd like to finish with 100 RBIs and like to do a couple of things still personally. His agent, though, saying this week that Shohei is determined to continue his career as both a pitcher and a hitter after he recovers from his latest elbow injury. A couple of things on this. We've talked about it before with his free agency. That it's pretty much up to Shohei and Shohei's decision on whether or not he's going to want to continue to pitch and whether or not he'll continue to be a two-way player. But at some point now, don't the Angels at some point have to just shut him down? I mean, don't we want to get this surgery out of the way so he can get back? The Angels aren't playing for anything,
right?
Nothing. So when are we going to shut him down and get this UCL injury taken care of so he can come back as soon as possible next year?
Or maybe the Angels realize like this is our last chance to see him play for the Angels.
That and also he may not want to, like you said, he may not want to shut it down, and he may not want to do the surgery. That's the other thing that people are talking about. His agent is like, what surgery? Why do we need to do a surgery? Let's just shut him down and rest him for the whole, off season. So man, they playing dice here, man. I don't know.
In his free agent year certainly makes it very interesting on, if he doesn't have the surgery before free agency starts, it's like, all right, well, now we're going into this with a guy who's got to have surgery, who's going to be out at least 6 months as far as hitting is concerned. Yep. And then pitching's concerned, you're talking about another year that he's going to be out. So I don't know. I think it's interesting, but I would think the Angels at some point, I mean, for the Angels' sake, if the Angels feel like they're going to lose him, but I don't think the Angels would think they're going to lose him, would they? I mean, after what they did at the trade deadline, isn't their whole goal to keep him?
after what they did, getting all those crummy players and being terrible.
Yeah, they did.
Like, what do you mean?
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
What they might also think that because of this injury, that the chances of him getting what he wants in terms of the team and being able to pitch, maybe they're saying, hey, we'll be the only team that allow you to do both.
Yeah.
These other teams might be like, look, we'll sign you under the condition that we don't want you to blow out your arm. We want you to stay the whole season. So they may feel like they have the end right now.
Also, if he's the one who wants to keep playing and you're trying to keep this guy long term, like you don't want to be the team that says, hey, no, we're shutting you down.
Yeah.
You can't do it, buddy. Like, I mean, you gotta, I think maybe they're trying to make some concessions to him.
Yeah,
this point.
that's very possible too. And then there's a report that the Angels are open to a Mike Trout trade if he asks out.
They should have did it a long time ago.
Trout's deal includes a full no trade clause, so it would take Mike Trout asking out and Mike Trout requesting a trade for him to be dealt. Now he's got 8 years left at $297 million, which I don't know. I hate to say it, but that's kind of a bargain, right?
8 years.
So it's about what, 35 million?
I mean, it's a bargain for a full-time player.
Yeah,
it's a bargain for Ronald Acuna. It's not a bargain for a guy who plays 80 games a year.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Every year.
But you know, a team like the Padres would be like, "Yeah, come on, the Yankees too. Like we'll take that chance." You know?
Yeah, I think if he goes anywhere or accepts a deal anywhere, it would probably be East.
Yeah,
he's a Jersey guy, right?
Yeah, Phillies have been mentioned. That's kind of his hometown team. Boston, a possibility as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But then again, I look back at this and I think to myself, well, if you're wanting to keep Shohei, you can't trade Mike Trout.
What if they don't get
along? It depends on what you get. Yeah, it depends on what you get.
Unless Shohei says, let's get rid of Mike Trout. I think it's all up to Shohei, but that would really surprise me if that's the case. And Trout is a interesting dude that, he's been very loyal to the Angels and has wanted to stay in Los Angeles with that team. Many people wonder why, because of the star that he could be possibly elsewhere. So that'll be interesting to see. But if Mike Trout were to be traded, man, that would be a huge. I mean, forget about the Soto deal being huge. This would be as big of a deal as we'd ever
if the Angels, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could look at Ohtani and Trout as like, separate cases. But if you're the Angels and you're going to rebuild and you're going to try to get as many prospects as you can, one of those ships sailed at the trade deadline. Like you had the chance to maybe get the biggest haul of all time with Ohtani, and you didn't do it. So now, like, why would you do it now with Trout? You're basically getting 50 cents on the dollar you had of the two players together. I mean, I guess getting prospects for Trout, maybe you still get a lot, maybe you don't. I don't know. But seems like you kind of had the chance to kick off this if that's what you wanted to do, and you didn't do it.
Yeah. But you got to get more than prospects for Trout. I'm sorry. Like, you got to get a budding all-star, an all-star, somewhere in that deal. Like, you just can't be prospects like that. They're not working with just prospects. That team, the Angels, they need more than that.
Yeah, more Hunter Renfroes and Randall Grichuk's. That's what they need. Well, the Angels will be very interesting. They'll be the team to watch for certain this postseason to see what happens with Ohtani and if there is a deal that they would make, including Mike Trout going somewhere. Another thing I learned this week, 2023 baseball playoff rules, the pitch clock will remain intact with the same time limits as the regular season. Some were wondering if maybe the pitch clock could change a little bit for the postseason to give guys more time. That is not going to be the case. I think the problem we're going to see in the postseason is the pitch comm thing. Because of loud crowds and things like that. You might see a lot of pitch comm. My pitch comm's not working type of deal.
You see that now.
Yeah, we see it now, but I think we'll see it even more come postseason time. But I'm glad they're not changing the pitch clock. I think it would be stupid to change it for the postseason when it's worked. We haven't really seen that many violations. Really. So I'm glad they kept it the same. To me, it's stupid just to change the rules for the postseason. I like the idea that, in the postseason, there's no ghost runner at second and extra innings. Although if we get an 18-inning game, that'll maybe change people's minds on that as well. But I like that. Just play it until there's a winner in the postseason. But I think keeping the pitch clock the same is probably the smart move. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I do too, and I kind of feel like as the season's gone along, you see players and umpires get better at figuring out how to kind of manage the pitch clock and not, like the umps figure out how to waste time a little bit here and there when a catcher gets a foul ball or whatever. Like, so I think they're probably in the postseason they'll be a little better about that too, and figure out. But like you said, Fish, like the pitch com thing, like they need to have like a pitch com person every game who's just there ready for that thing to happen, because like every game it happens and then like nobody really knows what to do, and then eventually some ball boy runs
But
out there
Lane, there was rumors that they were going to try to have a pitch com sleeve, electronic sleeve for the pitchers, just in case something like that happens, where you can like kind of look at your sleeve and electronically it'll feed into what, but people are like, they might spook some pitchers that might, that might, like, maybe if it's a pitcher, you don't want to see that on your arm, like that might do something. But that was a rumor going out, because a lot of people were having issues with the sound.
That feels like too much artificial intelligence or something. Like,
that's where we're going. That's where we're going, Lang.
You got to have a chat GPT catcher for this thing.
Jim Edmonds, former Cardinal, former Cub as well, who is a Cardinal broadcaster right now, actually said something very smart. Well, not smart, but I thought it was interesting. It was, I think it's an interesting discussion. He brought up the point that he thought, because it was after some umpires missed a couple of calls, and he said he thinks that it would be so beneficial for the umpires if you gave the umpires the pitch com as well. If the umpire knew what was coming, they'd be able to call strikes and balls even better.
Maybe.
Because they're like a hitter where you're there almost guessing what might be coming. So an umpire could get fooled just like a hitter could get fooled, where you're thinking a fastball's coming, all of a sudden it's a changeup, you might get fooled a little bit and you got to call strike in that instant. If the umpires knew what pitch was coming, they'd be more prepared for it and they'd be looking for it, where they'd be able to call it a little bit better. I thought that was interesting, to give the umpires the pitch com, to give them an advantage to know what is coming, and that might help. We saw a Pittsburgh Pirate, Key Brian Hayes, who went off on the umpires and said, let's get the automatic balls and strike callers in immediately. Let's get the robots in immediately, because these umpires don't care anymore, is what he actually would say. That's because he was called out on a pitch that was 3 inches off the plate.
I think the umpires, they have the best union ever, because for them to be able to just keep going.
For Angel Hernandez to still have a job in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. It's like, it's crazy to me. Like
CB Buckner.
Yeah. Yes. Like that automatic strike zone that's been talked about for like over a decade. Maybe that should have happened. Maybe we should be talking about that. Like that, maybe having umpires is a bit antiquated now, like maybe outfield, the outfield umps, that's cool, because they got to look at the bags. They got to see whether or not you touch the bag or whatever. But behind the plate, I don't think there's a reason to have that.
I don't know. Yes, I agree with that too. I mean, if we're talking about pitchers having a sleeve that tells them what pitch to throw, like maybe having a robot behind home plate to call the pitches isn't that far-fetched,
Yeah.
I don't know. I do agree, like, with the argument that there should be some sort of art to it, right? Like, certain pitchers get certain parts and some don't, and like if the pitcher's consistently hitting the same spot, maybe we give him that corner. But I don't know. And that feels like that's kind of like it'd be like replacing NBA referees with robots or something, Like,
see, that's not necessarily though, because you still have the umps on the corners of the bag to make sure that
Yeah, but the home plate ump is the home. Like that's
I know. It's the big chief. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just, I've seen too many mistakes. Where people are like, games on the line, man. Like, come on, man. Like Angel Hernandez. First of all, Angel Hernandez should not even be out there anymore. I know his ears is burning because we always talk about this cat, but
he's horrible. Maybe we should like have maybe they should allow batters or teams to like challenge the ball strike call. Maybe you get one per inning, or I don't know, something like that.
I like that idea.
So if it's in a big situation, you get punched out on a strike 3 with the bases loaded and it's not a strike, you challenge it. And if it's not a strike, it's overturned. I don't know. We're already checking the umpire's work in all these other ways. Maybe we should do it that way too.
Yeah. I think one of the worst things that happened for baseball is that they put the strike zone on television now. Because every announcer, that wasn't a strike. And they can tell because the ball's outside the box by a little inch. But in the old days, when you didn't have that box on television, if an umpire gave you a corner call, the announcers, or even if you're watching on TV, you might just be like, I don't know, that one was close, because the camera's not even off. It's off center a little bit too. So you never knew how close it really was, and you never knew how far the umpire may have missed or made the right call. But you just kind of, you were confused. You were like, oh man, I don't know if that's a strike. But then you moved on to the next pitch. Now it's like, oh, he just missed that. He's terrible. And it's black and white. You missed and you're terrible. And I've always been one that I like the human element of the game. I like the umpires, but I don't know. I'm just at the point now where this is the way we're going. This is what it's going to be, and we're going to have robot umpires. So just deal with it and live with it. And
it's going to be Twilight Zone pretty soon. Everybody knows it.
I like the thing on the screen.
Yeah,
I like it.
I don't.
Let's see if it's a strike or a ball.
I think it's 2 against 1 on this one, Fish. I liked it when they first did it because it made it easy to call the umps bums. Like that's
exactly right. You guys are umpire haters.
Yeah, well, I mean, big time.
Fish and I were at the game when I booed the umpire. They walked out of the locker room before the game started. They walked in front of me, and I was talking to Fish.
Tell the truth. You was at the umpire. No, tell the truth, man. You was at the umpire's crib when he woke up.
I would be. I didn't even get to use some of my better lines, like, hey, Blue, bend over and use your good eye, and some of the other.
That's terrible.
Jesus Christ.
The Atlanta Braves this week, they lost 2 of 3 to the Cardinals. Oh my goodness! And then
finally,
beat the Buccos. Yeah, how about that? Beat the Buccos 2 out of 3. Matt Olson, however, hit 3 home runs in the Cardinals series. Hit his 48th against the Pirates. Marcell Ozuna, how about number 33 on the year? Ronald Acuna hit 2 against the Cardinals, hit another against the Pirates. Strider was rocked. And some believe his 2 2/3 6 earned runs against the Cardinals may have lost him the Cy Young Award.
I don't know. I saw a funny stat that against teams that are below 500, he's not good. He's like 3-4, whatever. His record's really bad, and then against really good teams, his record's great. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he didn't care. Maybe he was just trying something different pitch wise, or, trying to get another pitch honed in for the postseason. That night was just getting ripped. But yeah, that was the weirdest part of the last week, is that game. Strider was just awful.
Hey, Fish, was that game that you guys won against the Buccos? Was that the game where McCutcheon hurt his leg? I think he got injured.
Yeah, he let me see. What was the injury? He's done.
He's out. Like, he's out for the whole season. Like,
yeah, he's done a partial tear of his Achilles.
Jeez, man.
Ew. Yeah, that's not good.
That's a guy that's on a bubble of the Hall of Fame. Like, he's a bubble guy. He's a classic bubble. Like, if you really look at his stats, he's got one of those sneaky career arcs that you're like, oh man, maybe one MVP could have got him in there. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Keith, why are you hijacking our Brave segment?
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I'm just glad you guys lost, because, you were just racking up series.
It was also crazy. The flu was going through the Braves last week.
Oh, and, the old flu. All right.
Riley missed his first game all season. He had like a 24-hour thing, and he was sick. And then somebody got their start pushed back. I think it was Strider. He was sick too, and they pushed his start back a couple days this week. So a bunch of dudes have been sick all week. I don't know. Maybe that was part of it, or maybe it's just like they're just trying to play out the season without getting people hurt. We'll see. I just want to see if Olsen can break the single season Braves home run record. He's a couple away.
3 away?
Yeah.
What is he? What is he?
He's got 48. 51 is the number. Andrew Jones did it. And there's 20 games left, something like that. Yeah. So I would assume he's going to be.
Yeah, I think he could pull it off. I mean, Acuna right now, he's just.
Yeah, he had a big, he had the hit to lead the come from behind win yesterday.
Yeah, he's silly right now. What he's doing right now, it
great.
seems like he's putting it all together, because you could always say, well, he won't burn us with the home run. Like he'll get him in clumps. You know, it's not, you don't really have to worry about that. Just worry about him getting on. Now he's just starting to hit for power too. Like he's just, it's getting real scary out there.
He hit one the other night, 455 feet,
Jeez.
opposite field. It's like a line drive to start the game. And I was like, good Lord. But I saw, you know, we've talked so much about the MVP with him and Fish. I saw, you know, you had brought up that so many people are like, well, Acuna has so much help that it'll, you know, be easy for them and da-da-da. It's easier for him, and the Braves are so good that's why he's not as, you know, deserving of the MVP. And then I saw like somebody, it was MLB maybe, and they had like the MVP rankings. Acuna was 1, Mookie Betts was 2, and Freddie Freeman was 3. And I was like, so Mookie Betts doesn't have help? Like the third place guy is on his team. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's almost like Acuna heard all that talk the last 2 weeks and like turned it up.
Yeah.
And the Braves clinch a playoff spot. First team to clinch a playoff spot. There wasn't much of a celebration. Ronald Acuna said, "We don't celebrate this. We're not the Mets."
That was a fake. That was a fake quote.
What? That's fake?
Yeah, I saw.
I wanted that to be so true.
I did too. I was hoping it was true. That was a fake account.
Oh
fake
my
news.
God.
Well, can't tell anymore on the X, but I liked it. I liked it.
It was great.
Acuna is the 5th player in baseball history to record multiple seasons of 35 homers and 35 stolen bases, joined Alfonso Soriano, Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds, and Willie Mays. Also, you mentioned the huge 2-run go-ahead single in the 7th inning of Sunday's comeback win over the Pirates. He's hit 386 in the past 13 games with 7 homers, 19 RBIs, 14 runs, 5 stolen bases, only 3 strikeouts, and OPS over 1 on the season. His 336 average is tied with Freddie Freeman for second in the majors. Pretty amazing. Sunday was the 103rd consecutive game that the Braves have either hit a home run or stolen a base. The next longest streak in the majors in the modern era. The Braves have done it 103 straight times. The next longest is the 2017 Rangers, who did it 57 games in a row.
Yeah, but the Braves are only doing it because the bases are 2 inches bigger now.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right.
How close are you guys to the overall home run record, Lane?
I have no idea.
For a year.
I have no idea.
No, I know that we're getting close. They were saying it was getting close.
Yeah, they're over 200 now, and I think the record was 217, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
216, 217.
Yeah.
I think we have,
I think they're close.
6 guys with at least 25 home runs, something like that.
Well, how many with 30? I mean, Acuna, Ozuna, Olsen, Albies, Riley.
Braves.
Christ. But that's just silly when you're having that. Like, you can't strike anybody out like at that point.
Olsen, Acuna, Riley, Ozuna, Albies has 29.
Oh, okay.
But at least 20 home runs. It's 7 players because Rosario and Sean Murphy are over 20, and Arcia has 17, and Michael Harris has 14. So, I mean, there's a chance if one of those guys gets hot, you could end up with, 8 or 9 guys with at least 20 home runs on the season.
Jeez. Wow. Here's the Braves for you. All right, Cubs. Murph, your Cubs. Sweep 3 against San Francisco. Justin Steele was amazing. 8 innings pitched, 12 Ks. He improved to 16-3. Lost 3 of 4 against Arizona. Only the second series the Cubs have lost in their last 17 series. Christopher Morel hit his 21st. Cody Bellinger 25. Dansby Swanson 20. Steele went 7 strong innings again. Did not get a decision, however, allowing just 1 run in the Arizona series. That was on Sunday's game or on Saturday's game. Yeah, didn't get a decision, but pitched very well. Cubs 13-2-2 in their last 17 series.
Yeah, Steele is like I said, we left a lot on the table for him. He should at least have 3 more wins. He should be running away with it because we just, for some reason, sometimes we just blank out with the run support for him. I'm just glad we avoided the 4-game sweep because that would have been like really shaking up a lot of Cubs fans. I mean, changing up the batting order, that worked. Hitting Morel lead off, that worked. putting Suzuki at third. That worked. Ian Happ sliding down to 6. So, Ross did some smart things there. Hopefully we can keep that lineup in our back pocket just in case we need it for some more grueling series. Also, it was cool to see Sean Dunston and Mark Grace get inducted into the Cubs Hall of Fame, and it's a beautiful moment.
We need to clip that part where Murph just said David Ross did some smart things there.
Well, he did. I got to give him credit. It was a smart move.
I know. It's like the first time I've heard you say that all year.
Listen, listen.
Last 2 years.
I know, right? It was a move out of desperation, but it was a smart move because I think what he did was Morel his confidence was down a little bit, and I think he just wanted him to just have a chance to really, really not have any man on and not be pressured to make, do something, just to hit freely, and it worked. But yeah, man, having, Dunston and Grace out there, and then seeing all the old heads like Rhino and Fergie Jenkins, Billy Williams, Lee Smith, Andre Dawson there. It was a cool moment for Cubs fan. Also made me kind of remember that 89 team that Dunston and Grace was on, that lost the National League Championship to the Giants. And I still say we was the better team, but that's a whole nother story. So
I still remember as a kid watching the Cubs on WGN, and the fan had the Shawnometer sign.
Yes,
He would track his batting average. That was fun.
Yeah. He's a fun player, man. Both of them was fun. I mean, Mark Grace is another one of those borderline could have been Hall of Fame guys, So yeah, it was cool. Other than the losing, that was cool.
Cubs are 3 games behind the Brewers in the Central. They got a 2.5 game lead on the Marlins for a wild card spot right now. So 2.5 games is a good place to be. 3 back of the Brewers seems like too much with what is left. However, Cubs will play the Brewers in the final weekend of the series or of the season. So if they can just sneak a little closer, maybe that series means something.
Yeah, hopefully it will mean something. And I mean, at one point we was like 1.5 games back. Then it balloons to 3, so that was discouraging. But like let's just try to win as many series as we can and not really worry about whether or not we're going to be first, whatever. Just keep winning, man.
Just win series, man. But I also saw the Cubs. I just saw this morning they're calling up their top outfield prospects.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like they understand that they needed a little more juice in the lineup, and I think Ross was kind of hinting at that a couple of weeks ago when he was saying that we got to start letting these kids come up and see what they can do in the big spots. So we'll see. I mean, the kid is good. He's outfielder. He's got a nice stick. So we'll see what he does in the major leagues. We'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of just win series, that is what the Cardinals do. They just win series, and what a week it was. Cardinals win 2 out of 3 against the Braves, and then they go and win 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati as well. Against the Braves, Nolan Gorman with 3 home runs in that series. Nolan Gorman's got 27 home runs on the season. This is a guy that they were platooning early in the year because they said he couldn't hit left-handers. Well, here he is with 27 home runs, doing just fine. Jordan Walker hit his 15th home run of the year. Here's a guy that they sent down to the minors because he couldn't hit pop-ups.
I thought he couldn't play defense.
Well, that was part of it, too. Mason Wynn hit his first home run as a big leaguer, so congratulations to him. And then Wilson Contreras against Cincinnati hit his 19th of the season. That's a guy that they told he couldn't catch anymore because he couldn't catch the starting staff.
If you would have
managed the game.
Contract.
Fish, if you would have told me that man had 19 home runs, I would have called you a liar because I had no idea.
Yeah, man.
He's been playing so under the radar. It's been ridiculous. He's been slighted. They want him to retire. Fans hate him, and he's sitting up there as a catcher with 19 home runs. It's crazy.
And has been their best hitter in the second half of the season. And it's like, oh yeah, well, early in the year, that stuff that didn't. I mean, of all the crap that happened early in the season for the Cardinals, it's just mind-boggling the stuff that they went through. That was self-inflicted. It was self-inflicted by the team, and it was a big part of their early season struggles. And, the pitching has been terrible. We know that. They got to pick up more pitchers. But and then the offense has been kind of hit or miss, but mostly hit for most of the season, except when Adam Wainwright's pitching. Wainwright now stuck at 198 wins. In 7 of 19 starts this year, Cardinals have scored 0 runs. 0.
What does he have to do to get run support? Like, what does have to happen for this man to get some run support out there?
He needs to get traded to the Braves.
Get traded, yeah. No kidding. Meanwhile, we go around the National League, and the National League, the New York Mets, who are out of it. Carlos Carrasco, and just another great Mets story this year. Carlos Carrasco suffered a fracture to his right pinky finger when a 50-pound dumbbell fell on it.
Did it just fall from the sky, though? Where did it fall from?
Yeah, like the road runner dropped it off.
Yeah. Was it a gorilla somewhere just throwing?
It said Acme on it. I don't even know. Like I can't even lift a 50-pound dumbbell to drop it on my finger. So like I don't know where that thing come from.
Yeah, he's undergone surgery. He's out 4 to 6 weeks, but his season is over. Braves in that top spot, of course, in the National League East, and the Phillies are in the top wild card team right now. They won 2 of 3 at San Diego, lost 2 of 3 against Miami. However, Kyle Schwarber 4 home runs this week. He's up to 43 home runs on the season. And Zach Wheeler 6 scoreless innings. He improved to 11-5 for the Phillies as they're playing good baseball. They're 2 up on the Cubs in that wild card race for the top wild card spot. And they're not going to catch the Braves, but Philly's trying to hold on to that top wild card spot, which is where they were last year when the Phillies went to the World Series. Miami. That's right. Miami Marlins just a half game out of the wild card. They're a half game back of Arizona, and a good week for Miami. They won 8 of 10 games now. They won 2 of 3 against the Dodgers, 2 of 3 against Philadelphia. Jake Berger with his 31st bomb. Josh Bell hit number 20. The Brewers playing really good baseball in the National League Central. They lost 2 of 3 to Pittsburgh, but then won 2 of 3 at the Yankees. Corbin Burns, 8 hitless innings in a loss to the Yankees. Had a no-hitter through 8 yesterday, and they lost the game. He came out of the game. It was a no-hitter going into the 11th for the Brewers as a team, and they lost to the Yankees. Willie Adames did hit his 24th home run. Brewers have won 13 of their last 17. The Reds won 2 of 3 against Seattle, but then lost 2 of 3 to the Cardinals, which wasn't good. But good news for the Reds. Jonathan India and Joey Votto both return to the lineup, and both of them hit a home run. So the Reds, it feels like the Reds, who are now a game and a half out of a wild card spot, and have 2 teams to jump, it feels like the Reds have kind of hit it a little bit, hit that wall a little bit.
I think you said they were getting hot.
No, they just feel like they've kind of they've become who they are over the last couple of weeks.
They got not hot.
They got not hot, yeah. And Ellie De La Cruz is not hot right now. The team's pitching has not been very good. I think they're back into reality is what's happened to the Cincinnati Reds. Good, fun, young team to watch, but I just don't think they have enough to get all the way up to the wild card spot. It would be amazing if 3 teams from the pitiful National League Central made the playoffs. Yeah. That would be unbelievable.
I just think what's going to happen is the reason why they're having so many issues, Cincinnati, is because, one, they lose against bad teams. But more importantly, the teams that are going after the wild card, there's some good teams.
Yeah.
Like you see the cluster of teams that's in back of us. Like I'm looking at top, but I'm worried about, the teams that's behind us. Hell, I'm still worried about the Giants, and the Giants have been sliding. Like you just can't rest with the amount of quality teams going in. I know a lot of the old heads don't like the wild card thing and the extra teams being in the playoffs. The best thing that happens in baseball. I don't care what they say.
No doubt. I mean, we wouldn't have the excitement that we have right now in Major League Baseball's final month if you didn't have the wild card. Phillies would be out. Cubs would be desperate at this point. And Arizona would certainly be out. Miami'd be out. Giants be out. I mean, none of these teams would have anything to play for. But now, with the wild card, you have Philadelphia in that top wild card spot. They're 2 games ahead of the Cubs in the second wild card spot. They're 2 ahead of Arizona for the third wild card spot. And then you have Miami, San Francisco, and Cincinnati all within a game and a half of Arizona for the wild card. So a lot still to be played for in the National League. The Pirates and the Braves got into a little bit of a scuffle over the weekend.
What was that about, man?
They're trying to hurt Acuna.
Johan Oviedo called baseball soft after a run-in with Ronald Acuna during the win on Saturday. Oviedo said, "Why would I follow his game? all he wants is to get the ball off of him. I was laughing because you already got your chance to do something about it. I don't know, man. Baseball's become a little soft. No one wants to get a fastball in. It's part of the game. You're going to get fastballs in. There you go, Lang.
Well, he's right. Nobody wants to get a fastball in, especially after you've like broken your arm and stuff the past few years with things like that happening. So maybe don't throw at people. How about that? I don't mind the fastball inside, but like a fastball 2 feet inside, like that's,
it's a little close.
Yeah.
And they were pretty close on Ronald. In the National League West, the Dodgers running away with that. However, they lost 2 of 3 at Miami. Lance Lynn was rocked. And then Mookie Betts, a little bit of a foot issue as well after fouling a foot ball off his ankle. He was on crutches, but he's supposedly going to be okay, which is good. So he can continue his MVP run as tries to catch Ronald. Freddie Freeman hit his 53rd double. That's a franchise record. And Max Muncy, 33 and 34th home runs of the season. Freddie's having an unbelievable season. 53 doubles, a Los Angeles Dodgers record. He's been pretty darn consistent.
Sometimes it pays to cry, man. Sometimes you got to let it out, and the best days will be there for you. You know,
it pays to ban the shift too.
Oh, don't put it all on the shift.
I think that's a lot of it. I really do. Like,
you do?
Yeah, especially like teams not having that outfielder in between, like or they kind of putting the third baseman in short right field,
right?
Because Freddie's great at hitting the ball right in that spot, and teams figured that out the last few years and took that away from him. It happened in Atlanta too, and I think a big part of that now is not having all that right field jammed up on him, and he has room to lay it out there. Like, maybe he's not hitting home runs, but he's hitting it in that alley between right and center and able to get on.
Yeah. San Francisco, meanwhile, they're a game and a half back of the wild card. They were swept 3 games by the Cubs, but then they came back and swept Colorado in 3 games. Arizona, meanwhile, they are holding on to the last wild card spot by just a half game. They won 2 of 3 against Colorado, won 3 of 4 at the Cubs. Tommy Pham, 2-home-run game and a 10th inning game-winning RBI against the Cubs. And Zach Gallen with a 3-hit shutout. He was tremendous in a 1-0 victory against the Cubs. Gallen now 15-7 on the year. He was impressive against the Cubs.
Come on. I was just looking.
Cubs got an amazing pitching performance that day, but Gallen was just a little bit better.
We got 2 great pitching performances in the series that we lost games late. Like, I don't know what we need to do, but yeah, I was impressed with the performances of Arizona. They had some guys step up for them, so they did what they had to do, man.
Yeah. Hey, you can experience Grizzlies basketball like never before with the brand new Memphis Grizzlies mobile app. It launches in early October, designed in Memphis for Grizzlies fans everywhere. It's a new, sleek, user-friendly design that'll be your ultimate destination for all things Grizzlies. So download the Grizzlies app today in the App Store and the Google Play Store, so your app will update once the new version is released. Also, we got season tickets on sale for the Grizzlies year 2023-24. Season tickets are on sale now. It's the best way to guarantee your seats to the biggest matchups at the lowest prices all season long. For more information, visit grizzlies.com/season tickets or call 901-888-HOOP today. In the American League, the East, the New York Yankees, Jasson Dominguez has taken over Major League Baseball. He's come in and homered for a 3rd time in his 5th game in the big leagues. He's 20 years old, became the youngest Yankee with 3 homers in a 5-game span since Mickey Mantle in 1952. Dominguez also became the youngest player in American League history to hit 4 home runs within his first 7 career games. Then he got scratched Sunday, got scratched from the lineup Sunday with a torn UCL. He's going to be out 9 months. Played 7 games.
How did that happen? What kind of?
No kidding, right?
What's going on, man?
Played 7 games, slugging the ball all over the place, and then tears his UCL. I mean, he's playing out. He's playing outfield.
Or was he throwing it? Like, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Man, it's like he's 20 years old. Yeah. He should not be having that type of injury. That's just crazy.
No, just
the Yankees have had some weird injuries, like between that and the Judge's toe problem this year. Like, they've had some bad luck.
Yeah, it's been bad. And Giancarlo Stanton, this is amazing to me because Stanton, the way he plays, looks like he's about 43 years old.
Yeah.
He hit his 400th home run, and he reached 400 homers in 1,520 games. The fourth fastest in Major League history behind Mark McGwire, Babe Ruth, and Alex Rodriguez. Jeez. Albert Pujols is fifth at 1,523 games. Stanton did it in 1,520. Fourth fastest in big league history to 400 home runs. Stanton's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I don't see it, Fish. I know he has the numbers, but they're gonna look at him and say, "What moment did you have? Like, what was your signature?"
And he could say, "I had 400 of them."
No, man.
And he's not done. I mean, it's not like he couldn't get to 500.
Well, he plays like he's done. Like
he does play like he's done. Because when he doesn't homer, he's miserable.
He's 33 years old. He'll be 34 next season. 401 home runs, 1,000 RBIs.
How many hits does he have?
1,400. so like a third of his hits are home runs, basically.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, Fish. But
I mean, he easily could get to 500.
Yeah, he could get to.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. Just injuries. Like what?
His batting average is 260 career.
Well, they don't. They don't care about that.
I know, but you can also, like, for a player who's got a lot of home runs and a low average, like an Andrew Jones, you say, oh, but you can make the case for him defensively.
Right.
You can't really do that with Stanton.
No. I mean, you asked the question, what else does Stanton do but hit home runs? And I don't know if there's an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Has he won an MVP?
No.
See, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, I think if he had something like that on his resume.
Oh, he did. He did when he won the 2017 MVP.
Okay, so he could sneak in on that. He could sneak in on that. I can see that happening. Plus, he's 33, like you said. My thing is his career injuries that he's been having. He hasn't really played 4 seasons in a long time. You got to see if he can do that. But I can see him getting up to 450.
Yeah. That MVP season, he played 159 games. And then the next year he went to the Yankees, played 158. And then the next year, 18. The next year, 23.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had 200 plus. And then this year he's on track to play like 110, something like that. So,
yeah, I don't know. I guess when the numbers finish, you'd have a better idea, obviously. Yeah. Baltimore Orioles are in first place in the East. They swept 3.
Hold on. What's the minimum he has to get to like guarantee Hall of Fame? Do you think he's guaranteed
500?
Now? Do you think 400? No, I don't either.
I mean, I think 400. Well, no.
I think 450.
500. Like, there's no way you can keep him out. I don't think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they try to keep people out with 500. You saw how much they gave McGriff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
For years, for decades, like they were trying to keep that man out.
Maybe 500 doesn't get him in. I don't know. That's an interesting debate.
Yeah. I don't know. The Orioles swept 3 at the Angels. Anthony Santander hit his 27th home run. Then they won 2 of 3 at Boston. They've won 7 of 8 overall. The Orioles reached 90 wins in 141 games, the fewest since 1979 when they reached it in 136 games. Tampa, they are the first wild card team right now. They won 2 of 3 against Boston and 3 of 4 against Seattle. Tyler Glasnow, a 14 strikeout game. And Zach Eflin won his 14th game of the year. Tampa 18-7 now since Wander was
doing it. Yeah, they're doing it without you know who.
Yeah, since he was gone.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back, Fish.
No. I mean, I think everybody's just trying to not talk. I think we might be the only show that talks about him. That Keel still keeps him in mind, which is amazing.
If he ever does come back, I don't think it's going to be with the Rays.
No.
You know.
Yeah. Toronto, meanwhile, they won 2 of 3 at Oakland, also swept 3. Boy, what a week they had. They had 3 games at Oakland and 3 games against Kansas City. They went 5-1. Chris Bassett improved to 14-7. Kevin Gausman, 8 innings, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts, improving to 11-8. George Springer had a 2 home run game, give him 19. Toronto, they are a game up on both Seattle. They're a game up on Seattle for the second wild card spot. Red Sox, meanwhile, they had 23 hits on Saturday and lost. Last team to do that in a 9-inning game, the 1930 Phillies. My goodness.
Man.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. In the Central, Minnesota Twins, they won 2 of 3 at Cleveland. They scored 20 in the opener. And then they won 2 of 3 against the Mets. Carlos Correa hit his 18th homer of the year. Kansas City, Zach Greinke's now 1-15 on the season.
What do you got to do to win, man?
Man. In the American League West, and what a race this has been, and the Astros just continue to fall apart. Or not the Astros, the Rangers continue to fall apart. Astros now with a 2.5 game lead over Seattle. Houston swept 3 at Texas. 16 home runs in the series. 16 home runs as they sweep 3 at the Rangers. Jose Altuve hit 5 of them in the series, including 3 in a game. Became the 4th player to hit 3 home runs in the first 3 innings of a game, joining Manny Machado, Mike Cameron, and Carl Reynolds from 1930. Yeah.
Wow. Did anybody check any, trash cans anywhere?
No, but it sure looked like that's what they were using. I mean, my goodness, they were crushing the baseball. Framber Valdez improved to 11-9. Justin Verlander beat Max Scherzer head-to-head. And then they won 2 of 3 against San Diego as well. Altuve with another bomb. He's got 16 now on the season. Seattle's 2.5 games back. They had a rough week, losing 2 of 3 at Cincinnati and then 3 of 4 at Tampa. Julio Rodriguez hit 5 home runs on the week. He's got 29 on the year. The Big Dumper hit his 27th of the season. And Luis Castillo, he was terrific. 6 scoreless, going 12-7. Seattle still 25-13 on the road since July 1st.
Yeah, I don't know who to cheer for more, Seattle or Toronto. I want to see, hell, if both of them can get in, which is impossible. But I want to see Toronto get in because that's just, that would be a good story.
Yeah. Right now, Toronto is that 2nd wild card spot. Seattle is that 3rd wild card spot. Seattle just a half game up on the Rangers, who were swept 3 games against Houston. Then luckily they got Oakland, where they won 2 of 3 games. But they have lost 12 of their last 16. Seager had 4 home runs this week. He's got 30 now on the season. Both Nathan Eovaldi and Jordan Montgomery were beat up this week for the Angels, so that was not good for them, or for the Rangers, which was not good for them. The Angels had another injury. Luis Rengifo strained his left bicep while taking a swing on the on-deck circle.
Jeez, man.
Forcing him to leave the game against Cleveland. Angels starting to come up with some of them weird injuries that just derail teams. Meanwhile, our favorite players, Shohei, didn't play this week because of his oblique. So we've got no updates on Shohei. J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez, last 3 games, he's 5 for 13, 2 homers, had 5 homers this week with 7 RBIs, hitting 280, 28 bombs, 94 RBIs, 36 stolen bases. First player in baseball history to have 25 homers and 25 stolen bases in each of his first 2 seasons. How about that? Betting the Cardinals, I'm now 76-67 on the season. That'd be 9 games over 500. I'm 18 for my last 26. I'm 18-8 in the last 26 games. I am 13 games ahead of the Cardinals as far as my record and the Cardinals record.
I mean, maybe you should just try to get the managing position. Maybe you should just be the skipper. Maybe you should just not going to do it and be like,
maybe
hey.
Ali Mormal can host this podcast.
Yeah. Let's just
there you go.
Let's straight up trade.
Let's do a Freaky Friday and just have him just come in and just.
And then have me manage the club? Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good look.
Just don't pitch. Just don't pitch.
No, apparently. This week, the Cardinals will be in Baltimore for 3 and then take on Philadelphia for 3. Atlanta's got 4 at Philadelphia, including a double dip today, and then 3 at Miami. The Cubs have Colorado on the road for 3 and then at Arizona for 3. The Cubbies are out on the West Coast or not West Coast, but the mountain zone for the next week. Tampa's at Minnesota this week. Texas is in Toronto. Big series for Texas as they try to catch Toronto in that wild card standing despite scuffling. And Miami is in Milwaukee for 4 games, take on the Brewers. This weekend, you got Tampa at Baltimore, the 2 top teams in the American League East going at it. Boston's at Toronto, and one of them, Boston, could be eliminated this week, basically. They're about 6 games out right now, so they're in trouble. And then the Dodgers are in Seattle to take on the Mariners for 3 at the end of this week, which could be a lot of fun as well. All right, there you have it for the week and the week coming up in Major League Baseball. Fellas?
I want to see Kyle Wright this week for the Braves. Supposedly he's got one more minor league start, and then he threw 50 pitches in his last minor league start. He's got one more in the minors, and then he's coming up. So
and Soroka back on the IL.
Yeah, Soroka was not good.
Yeah,
No,
I
he
want to see the new kids that the Cubs has brought up. See how he does. See if the kid is legit. I mean, Colorado is one of those trap teams where you got to be really careful with them. You think that that's going to be a win for you, but you never know.
Yeah, especially there, of course, makes it very difficult. Have a good week, Murph. Good luck to your Cubs.
Hey,
Lang, good luck to your Braves.
Our Braves.
Our Braves. Yeah, we are owners of the Braves.
And good luck to Wayno, man.
Good luck, Wayno. Come on.
Seriously, can we get this man like one win? He doesn't even need to get to 200. Just let him get one win for the rest of the season so he can just jump off from there next season.
Wayno will be pitching tomorrow at Baltimore.
Jeez.
3-11 with an 8.19 ERA. Come on, let's get 199
against a lefty, John Means, who's 0-0.
Which means the Cardinals will get tanked by him because it's a Cardinals tradition.
No, Braves do it too. Yeah,
do they?
Yeah,
see a guy for the first time,
and the guy just like
nothing.
Slays through the lineup. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for us here on Infield Fly. Thanks for tuning in and talking or listening to a little baseball talk with us this week. We'll do it again next week as we get even closer, another week closer to the postseason. For Keith Murphy and Lang Whitaker, I'm Rob Fisher. Have a great week. Enjoy all the baseball action, and make sure you tune in next week here on Grind City Media.